Hi, this is Joyce. Can't believe it. I've been doing YouTube for 1 year. It's incredible, especially when I wanted to hire a webmaster who said, I don't really like to take novices on because they can never think of anything to say beyond the 7th episode. Guess that wasn't true for me. I started on social media, on Twitter, in 2011. I guess that's right after Twitter started, too. And realizing that 140 characters was not sufficient for me, I went and I started my blog posts in the middle of 2012. And here I am, all these years later, consistently preaching the same thing. Don't stop voting. Every vote counts. I mailed in my vote with not one, but 2 first-class stamps. It was probably overkill, but I wanted to make sure that my vote would be counted. Make sure yours is too. Check it over. Make sure the barcodes are correct, that if you have a security envelope, you use it, and that you post it properly or drop it off in the correct box, the ballot box that's recommended by the government. And the kids are really doing a wonderful job. Those 18-year-olds and up, they're involved. In Wisconsin, they've created a cadre of 6,000 poll workers to help other people navigate the voter ID problems and other voter suppression issues that might occur. God bless them. They are really doing yeoman's work. In Purdue, they're working hard to curtail the virus. They've now embraced Michael Mina's rapid tests. Everyone is tested. There is no encouragement of partying. School has become a place of learning. If you ask my 2 grandchildren, they don't know any other way. One was pre-med at Stony Brook and has taken a gap year to do research, and the other one is in 3rd year law. They don't really have too many outlets out of exercise. They work hard. My 3rd grandchild, my middle one, he's in the U.S. Army, stationed in South Korea. So these are not kids that are out partying. They want an education. They want to be able to get on with their lives. And it sounds like the old adage of the partying school, not during COVID, it ain't happening. Because when it does, the kids, their families, and their communities suffer the consequences. I've been here, and I've enjoyed every single minute. I certainly don't want to be in the dustbin of history. I'd like to be there, right up there with all of you, finding out what's happening. When this program comes out, it'll be right before the beginning of the election day, November 3rd. It's incredible, just incredible, that we have gone so far. And I really do believe there is hope in our horizon. Donald Trump and Trump's enablers, gee, I hope they're part of the dustbin of history. I hope we've seen the last of looking at instant GDP satisfaction as stating that's the state of our economy. No, it isn't. The state of our economy is almost 100,000 new cases a day and 1,000 people a day dying from COVID. None of this has to happen. We haven't even seen the second wave that may come here from Europe. I understand it's a different strain. I plead with everyone, when you go to the polls, when you go out, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. I actually carry around alcohol with me so that I'm not killing off all the bacteria on my skin. And in the future, I won't be antibiotic resistant. So take care of yourselves, treat yourself well, and go to the polls and vote. Do what the Bolivians did. They voted overwhelmingly to get rid of their dictator. Overwhelmingly. 90% of the country voted, and 55% voted overwhelmingly for their new president. That is phenomenal for a country that had botched its elections for years and had been under autocratic rule. Now they're proud democratic citizens. Everyone is participating. The indigenous people and the city folks and everyone. And that's what we need. We've gone through so much over these last 4 years. It's probably been a culmination of 40 years. 40 years of trying to destroy the middle and lower classes. The same people who brought us the denial of cigarette smoking causing cancer in us and other pulmonary diseases have brought us climate denial and COVID infectious denial. This is dreadful. Question your sources. That great Barrington report that talks about herd immunity that doesn't exist. It really doesn't exist. I don't care how many folks sign that letter. It's the American Enterprise Institute once again, and Philip Morris. There's no data behind any of these studies. Don't listen, because what you don't know will harm you. We're smarter than that, everyone. And when you poll us individually, we all have the same wants and desires. We all want a good life. We want to be able to make more money so that our children will have a good future. Wiping out COVID is the only way for us to really overcome whatever economic strife we're seeing. More industry could go back to work and schools could open safely if we wore masks, practiced social distancing, used good hygiene, and put in those simple, cheap rapid tests. They work. They tell you when you're asymptomatic and shedding the virus, and it lets you go home and take care of yourself and not infect others. And because you're not so contagious when you're asymptomatic and you're not so sick, it's easier to keep you and your loved ones alive. And a word to those who are concerned about their health: if you have type A blood like I do, you really do have to be careful. Evidently, our blood type is a strain that makes us more susceptible to COVID. So be extra cautious. I never eat out in public without a face shield, realizing it is not as good as a mask, but I don't know how you eat with a mask on. I certainly will not uncover my face. I don't want particles of that virus on me. And I don't eat out often, maybe once every couple of weeks, with one or another person that I know takes COVID as seriously as I do. So I think you know how I stand on the issues. You know at this point where Trump stands on the issues, and you know where Biden stands on the issues. There's no question in my mind Trump has to be part of the dustbin of history. We don't want foreign policy based upon who he likes, which dictators he supports, and what benefits him personally. No way. We want impartial foreign policy. We want foreign policy that is good for America and Americans. And we're going to have to do a lot of bridge building. And we're also going to have to generate a lot of revenue. Revenue so that 30 million people can survive and thrive, so that nobody goes hungry in America, and that it's safe for us to open up our schools. We've got a lot to do, folks. We can't afford the polarization that we've seen. And if it means that we have to add an extra layer of psychological training or understanding of races, well, that's not something that's so difficult to do. And it might be appropriate that all of our kids after high school, since high school has been so hard for so many to attend, that they go on a sabbatical for 2 years and become apprentices, and we level the playing field amongst the classes. Everyone is on that sabbatical. Everyone takes 2 years and does community service or goes into industry. Not necessarily the military, though that's open to kids as well who'd like to join. But we need so much help in all of our states and communities. I think this would be a wonderful training ground for kids. And it would be a maturing process that could be fun as well. These last couple of months have not been fun. They're hard on all of us, and yet we can't afford COVID fatigue, because we don't know when the next wave will hit us and how bad things could really become. But if we unite together, we can really stop those outbreaks. So vote, everyone. Continue voting, no matter what the difficulties, because we need change in America. And we need it so that we can all survive and thrive. It's not socialism we're voting for. We're voting for capitalism with a heart. And knowing people the way I do on both the right and the left, I know that people are more like me than like Donald Trump. So let's do what's right, everyone. I've been asking for that since 2011 for sure, and prior to that as well. I have a consistent message, and I hope everyone has realized that I've only tried to do what's right because I want the good life for my family too. I have kids in their 50s and grandchildren in their 20s. So God bless you. Think of a good future. Think who will give you that future. It's going to take a lot of work on all our parts, but the future is ours, and it's going to be a great adventure. Take care again, everyone. God bless you all, and see you next week. You can bet on it.